When a parent participates in certain public assistance programs like temporary assistance to needy families or adult Medicaid, it's a requirement of those programs that families cooperate with the child support process. However, HHSC can make a determination that you could be exempt from that process.
Cases come across to the Office of the Attorney General's office from an internet interface, and that process is a fairly quick one.
What we'll do is we'll gather all the information we can about a family, including locating the parties, and then we'll start the process. If fatherhood has never been legally established, that's where we'll start.
Paternity establishment is very important because it establishes the legal relationship between the child and the alleged father. And during that process of establishing paternity, it may involve us doing genetic testing to ensure that the alleged father is in fact the biological father of the child. And we will have both parties either come to our office or we can do the genetic testing at different places if necessary. But it's an important step in order to obtain an order for child support.
Then we'll move forward with trying to negotiate an order that addresses medical support, child support, custody, and visitation. We can do that through an in-office negotiation, or we can do it through the court process. In cases where we're aware that there's family violence, we will use the court process to obtain the court order.
At the time that we're preparing cases to go to court, we make sure that these cases are segregated in a way so that we can ensure the custodial parent's safety when they come into the courtroom.
We can also ask the court to make a finding of non-disclosure, which will mean that your address will remain confidential and won't be in any papers that could be made accessible to the abuser.
What we do is we take off their address and phone numbers off of any legal papers that can be a public record, whether it's that case or if they have another case, because if they have more than one case, we still mark it as a family violence case too, just to make sure that their information doesn't become public record.
Then the state has to determine conservatorship. And that's our way of determining who has custody of the child and where the child will live. And once that has been determined, then the state will also determine visitation. We establish the child support amount that will be determined to be paid by the non-custodial parent. And in that child support obligation or order, you can also have an order for medical support or cash medical support. Or health insurance. That non-custodial parent can also be required to pay what is called retroactive child support, or as a lot of people call it, back child support.
The state of Texas has a protection for victims of domestic violence that allows them to opt out of seeking child support if it would put either the victim or their children at risk. And that way, they can avoid having to comply with child support requirements for Health and Human Services benefits.
It's called a good cause waiver. And if you have reason to think that your or your children's safety would be at risk by participating in the child support process, HHSC can give you a good cause to be exempt.
Good cause associated with TANF referrals is when a custodial parent believes that they have good cause not to cooperate with the Attorney General's office. It could be that they feel that they're unsafe if their information is released or would be released to an absent parent or an alleged father. It could mean that there has been a history of family violence or rape or incest or any of those type of situations. But if a custodial parent feels that their safety is threatened in any way, they can notify us or contact their caseworker at the Health and Human Services Commission and ask for a good cause determination.
We want you as a survivor to fully understand what's going to happen in the process and what the likely or possible outcomes are. We want to give you the tools and the information that you need to make the best decision for you and your family.